Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes College Football AP Top 25 Reactions. I, of course, am the Brofect1 AJ, and joining me as always is the man with the numbers, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, and all hail the king of the links, the money train, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, how the hell you doing today, bub?
Fantastic. Every day's another good one. Words are hard, sometimes I guess.
Every once in
But
a while.
yeah, really exciting news. Getting the AP Top 25 dropping, our first one of the season for college football, just means it is that much closer. It's right around the corner. I couldn't be more excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'm ready to break this thing down.
Oh, dude, same. It was so nice waking up this morning and seeing the AP Top 25 on a Monday morning, like we're going to be seeing the rest of college football. Super stoked. Still got some big news for the show regarding college football, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Noah, let's just dive right into it. Number one, no shock whatsoever. The Crimson Tide, Alabama out of the SEC. Yeah, of course, right? It was a rebuilding year
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, no shock at all there. Yeah, Alabama deserves to be number one. Didn't quite get all of the first place votes, but notching 54 out of the 63 first place votes there. Yeah, Alabama's the one and only team in the country that I feel comfortable saying is a shoe in to make the playoff, because either they go undefeated, win the SEC, or they have like one loss and lose an SEC championship game, and then they're still getting the 3 or 4 seed. So no surprise personally to see Alabama up at the top of that list.
A lot will have to go wrong for Nick Saban not to go back to the playoffs. And then that leads us to number two, Noah, the Ohio State, recently trademarking the, so we probably just got a copyright strike on our YouTube. Sorry about that, Ohio State. CJ Stroud's under center again, Heisman contender. They look like they're going to be same old Ohio State and probably whip the shit out of Michigan this year at least.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they're going to be a really good team. I feel that 1-2 for Alabama, Ohio State's very fair. That's kind of where I think they should be. And it'll be interesting to see how they reload after Stroud losing some big receiving weapons in Olave and Garrett Wilson. But it's Ohio State, so I'm sure they've got other 5 stars lined up to take those positions. And I do not see a scenario where Michigan beats them twice in a row. I think it's going to be a bloodbath when they play at the end of the season. Ohio State's going to be pretty upset with that. That wound is going to remain open from last year until they just absolutely spank Michigan.
Absolutely, and then Harbaugh's going to run back to the NFL with his tail between his legs. Noah, that takes us to the defending champs, number 3, the Georgia Bulldogs. I feel like they're defending champions, and so they should be number 1 if this was any other sport, but this is college football. Alabama does rule it. Georgia, I think, is going to be undervalued going into this season, Noah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Georgia being at 3. I might have put them a little bit lower. They did lose pretty much almost all the starters from that amazing defense they had last year. However, much like Alabama and Ohio State, Georgia's got the firepower to just plug in, seamless replacements in there all the time. So Georgia's going to be good. They play in the SEC East, so they should be able to pretty much run through their side of the SEC. I expect we'll see Alabama, Georgia in the SEC championship game again.
Yep. Unfortunately, in the SEC, it does kind of work like clockwork. Shit just happens the way it's supposed to happen. Number 4, Noah, coming out of the ACC, we got Clemson Tigers. Sure, why not, right? You got to throw an ACC team in there.
Yeah, I do think Clemson's going to have a big rebound from last year. I think they're going to have a really good season. I wouldn't have put them as high as 4. I think there's a couple other teams that should have been above them, but I also don't hate them at 4. I guess it makes enough sense that I'm not going to really complain about it too much.
Yeah, it's whatever. Like, it is going to be there. It kind of makes sense. Number 5, Noah, them fighting Irish. The Notre Dame. How are we feeling about the independent that is now number 5?
For kind of the third team in a row, I think there's maybe a couple teams that could have been above Notre Dame. Just a lot of question marks. You got a brand new head coach, has been in the system though. Yeah, I think the players really are revolving positively around him. I think Notre Dame's going to be a really good team this year. Will they be top five? I don't know. They play a pretty hard gauntlet of a schedule. So, maybe it's fair for them to start at five, but once they play through 12 games, I think they're going to have 2 or 3 losses on their record. So, that might just be my bias for them. Maybe they deserve to start at number five. I don't think they're going to finish at number five. They'll be more around 15 by the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're not gonna. They might start off, a little hot the first 3 games, but they have just had such a tough schedule they set for themselves. I don't see them doing a lot with it. Number 6 through 10, you got A&M, Utah, Michigan, Oklahoma, Baylor. Noah, what sticks out to you here? Is there anything you absolutely outright disagree with? Because personally, I think Michigan is way too high, and I know I'm gonna get all the Michigan fans bitching at me about it, but you guys just, you lost Aiden Hutchinson. That was your whole defense right there. Jim Harbaugh still can't call a game versus calling a Madden play, bro. I really don't see what everyone has in Harbaugh, even though he does have this type of success. But he's going to get smoked by Ohio State. He's going to get murdered by everyone else, honestly, in the Big Ten, even against little brother Michigan State. I don't see Michigan even remotely being in the top 25 when it's all said and done.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think they're definitely a top 25 team. I think 8's a little too high. I don't think they're going to be able to replicate the success they had last year. I see Michigan finishing the season at like an 8-4, 9-3 type of record, getting a decent bowl game, but that's going to be the extent of it. The biggest thing for me in this 6 through 10 range is Utah. And I know I mentioned I would have personally maybe put Clemson, Notre Dame, and even Georgia a little bit lower because I think Utah is a top 4, top 5 team in the country. I can't really say they got disrespected at number 7, but I think they should have been a little bit higher. I think they're going to clean slate, sweep the Pac-12, undefeated season, and it's been a couple of years since we've seen a Pac-12 team in the college football playoffs, and I think Utah, returns Pac-12 to that.
Hey, let me
playoff.
co-sign that with you. Utah's going to be the first team in forever that's not named Oregon that is going to be in the top 5, top 4, and so I'm stoked to see that. Anything else in the top from 6 through 10 that kind of sticks out?
Yeah, I mean A&M's an interesting one. I'll keep kind of brief on them.
NIL, right?
What was that?
Number 1 in NIL, right? Jimbo Fisher and A&M.
Yeah, they had a really good recruiting class coming into. I think the number 1,
yep.
Or something like that. A&M's a team I could see doing really well and maybe contesting Alabama for that SEC West. They're also a team I could see falling way short of expectations and having another 8-4 season. So they're just a big question mark for me. Oklahoma, they're going to be good, but with the new coach, I think 9 might be a little too high for them. I would have Baylor and Oklahoma State both above Oklahoma personally.
I'm with you on that. I really don't see Oklahoma doing a lot, especially with losing Lincoln Riley and a bunch of players to the transfer portal to USC. But luckily, Noah, we can talk about them next as we get into 11 through 15. You got Oregon, Oklahoma State, North Carolina State, USC, Michigan State. You just talked about it. USC USC with Lincoln Riley and everything. All this transfer over here. But no, the one thing that really stuck out in my head the last time we talked college football was culture. He doesn't have the time this season to build that culture and have those players buy into the system he wants to. I agree with you. USC is ranked way too high here, and they need to be taken down a peg. They're kind of like the UCLA of this year.
Yeah, I don't see any scenario where you can take a team that was 4-8 last year. Let's not forget that they were 4-8 last year. They weren't even bowl eligible, and then all of a sudden, they're, the betting favorite to win the Pac-12 or tied with Utah for the odds to win the Pac-12, and they're all the way up at 14 in the first poll of the season. Yes, I get they're going to be a lot better this year, but I think they're just going to flip that 4-8 to an 8-4 record. It's not going to be that impressive. They need about 2 more seasons before they're actually, competing.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, dude. Michigan State, I think they're going to have a better season than Michigan this year.
I think it's going to be neck and neck. I think they'll both be right around that 9-3 mark. One of them might end up with 10 wins. They'll both get trounced by Ohio State, and and then it's going to depend on which one of the two wins the battle between them, who finishes higher in the rankings. Because I think one will finish the season around 10, and the other is going to be more in that 15 to 20 range. And I think whoever wins the game between them is going to be more around 10, and the other one's going to be closer to 15 or 20.
Fair enough. No, I can't wait to see that and watch Harbaugh yet again run with his tail between his legs. And honestly, no, I got to say, I think sad Michigan fans are becoming almost as much of a favorite as sad Alabama fans at this point. But anyway, 16 through 20, Noah, you got Miami, Pitt, Wisconsin, Arkansas, and Kentucky. Noah, we talked about it off air a little bit. I think Wisconsin's way too high. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I don't think they're too high. I think they're right where they probably should be. It's Wisconsin. You're going to get the same damn thing every year. They might have the best running back room from top to bottom in all of college football. Got a really great three-headed monster there with their running backs. Offensive line's probably going to be really good as usual. They're going to have some dipshit at quarterback who can't figure out how to throw the ball very well. And they're probably going to play pretty good defense. So it's the same Wisconsin we see every single year. And schedule's not going to be super difficult, as it isn't most years in the Big Ten West. And, I expect they win the Big Ten West, get clobbered by Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, finish with a 10-win season. That's what they always seem to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Noah, has there ever been a successful quarterback out of Wisconsin in the NFL?
Oh, God, not that I can think of.
Yeah, me either. So just wanted to get that out of the way. And that leads us to the bottom 5. Noah, you got Ole Miss. I'm sorry, I can't read. Yeah, Ole Miss at 21, Wake Forest at 22, Cincinnati 23, Houston 24, and BYU sneaking in there at 25. Noah, I know I'm happy to see BYU on the list.
Yeah. The biggest thing that stands out here for me is, 23, 24, 25. 3 of the 4 future members of the Big 12. And then I believe the other one, UCF, also got votes but didn't quite crack the top 25. So, losing Oklahoma and Texas, but you got some interesting, good competition coming in to the Big 12.
Yeah.
A couple of years from now, I imagine those teams will stay pretty relevant and decent. And who knows, might have some new ones coming in as well.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really have a problem with the bottom of the list there. I might have put Houston up a little bit, just because I believe Wake Forest's quarterback just got injured or something like that. But besides that, that's pretty good bottom of the list. Cincinnati, I think, is going to have a lot of movement going up.
Yeah, those, a lot of those other Power 5 schools that are, outside of the top 15 but still cracking the top 25, I'd categorize most of them in the same boat. They're all good enough to win games, and if they have a really good game, they could upset a top team, but they're not going to be good enough to do that for 12 games in a whole season. A lot of those teams are en route to a 8 or 9 win season. That's about it.
Yeah, and that's pretty standard, and that's why we need a bigger college playoffs, but that is a topic for another day. Noah, you got anything else to say about the AP Top 25, the first one of the season?
I don't hate it. I think there's a couple outliers in there. Like I said, I don't like how high USC and Miami are. Both of those same boat, pretty much. They just got a bunch of transfers and a new coach, and everyone's blowing it out of proportion that's going to be the immediate fix. It's going to take a couple years for both of those programs to really establish themselves as dominant within their conferences. But outside of those two, I don't really hate too much. Some teams I'd have a little higher than the AP poll has them. Some I'd have a little lower, but nothing too egregious there.
Yeah, no, and it's just all adjustments and really at that point preference. But the only thing I highly disagree with is Michigan just being on the list in general. But like you said, they're probably going to fuck around and win 8-9 games by accident because That's what they seem to do. That's what they seem to do. But they're definitely losing to Ohio and Michigan State, so we love to see that. Yeah, I'm with you. No, just kind of, it's a good list. I mean, it's top 25. I'm happy to see North Carolina State getting some respect. Would have liked to seen them break the top 10, but I guess they'll have to do that when we get in season. I'm excited for them this year. But
They've got a dangerous season ahead of them just because the amount of hype that people are placing on NC State, like they can't just have a good season. They have to have a great season because everywhere I'm hearing people, you know, well, the amount of times I've heard people pick North Carolina State as their sleeper pick, I don't really feel like it's a sleeper pick anymore.
no.
And if anything, it's just added a lot more pressure and expectations to them for the season.
Yeah, and it'll
So
be,
we'll see if they can live up to that or not.
I'm sure they can. I'm sure they can. No, that's why I'm going to take a future out on them to go ahead and win the ACC. But again, other topics for later. With that being said, thank you so much for listening and watching. If you enjoy it, and I know you do, please like, share, and subscribe down below. Help us grow the channel and beat that YouTube algorithm. Also, we do have merch now, like this amazing hat. So go ahead, check out the description down below to find that. You can also find our Twitter handles at DGenTakes, at Brofect1 for myself, at N_Engelbretson for that guy, and Engel Money Train for all of your daily best bets. Noah is on fire. I call him the Money Train for a reason. He has a laundry list of nicknames for a reason. He's good at what he does. Follow him or you're losing money, I promise you. But we're not financial advisors. Yeah, with that being said, I've been the Brofect1 AJ. That's been the Money Train Noah. And we'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.